Get over here!
Mortal Kombat is here, and it's ultra-violent and once again bringing together all of our favorite ice ninjas, undead skeleton ninjas, thunder gods, four-armed dragon princes, one-eyed Australians, and obnoxious movie stars, and making them beat the crap out of each other to find out who is Earthrealm's deadliest warrior once and for all. You know, unless they want to leave room for a sequel. Directed by Simon McCoy, this latest Mortal Kombat gives a fresh take on a familiar story, paying its respects to the games and the original movie, and potentially setting up a whole new cinematic universe. Or realm, rather. But before we get into all of that, I have to warn you, we are about to spoil this entire movie right now, so if you haven't seen it or don't want to know, now would be the time to, looks like we hit a dead end.
It's an invitation to fight for something known as Mortal Kombat.
She said it. She said the name of the thing. Anyway, now that we're past the spoiler warning, let's get to the big reveal at the end of the movie. There is no Mortal Kombat tournament in this Mortal Kombat movie. There is plenty of Mortal Kombat taking place in a literal sense because Shang Tsung's genius plan is to murder all of Earthrealm's champions before the Mortal Kombat tournament can even take place, which is pretty smart when you think about it, but as you might expect, the champions of Earthrealm aren't about to take that lying down. Tournament or not, there are plenty of fights, fatalities, and regular old F-words, and we'll get to all that in just a minute, but first, let's get to the broad strokes of the story. Over the course of the film, Louis Tan's character Cole taps into his inner strength and, with the help of some familiar faces, defends Earthrealm from Shang Tsung and his champions from Outworld. With Shang Tsung's plans foiled, that means there's a tournament still on the horizon, so Raiden sends Cole and company out in search of more champions to fight on behalf of Earthrealm. The film ends with Cole packing his bags for LA to track down the legendary Hollywood celebrity martial arts superstar and Mortal Kombat fan favorite, Johnny Cage. Okay, so Johnny Cage doesn't actually appear in this movie anywhere but on a poster, but there is a solid roster nonetheless. Almost all of the playable characters from the first two games are present. That means Kano, Liu Kang, Raiden, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Sonya Blade, Reptile, Kung Lao, Jax, Shang Tsung, and Mileena. There are Easter eggs that reference Katana and Baraka, and we'll talk about them later, but besides them, we also see Kabal, Nitara, and Reiko, and I guess technically Noob Saibot's in there, but that's sort of a Schrodinger's ninja type situation because he's basically Sub-Zero. Spoilers, I guess. So, as we said, Shang Tsung sends Outworld's champions to Earthrealm to murder its champions in an attempt to assure Outworld's victory. He's motivated by a prophecy that the blood of Hanzo Hasashi, aka Scorpion, will unite the Earthrealm champions to defeat Shang Tsung and Outworld. We'll talk about Scorpion in a second, but yes, the blood of Scorpion does unite Earthrealm's fighters, and Cole is the vessel through which it all happens. Cole has this cool birthmark that looks exactly like a dragon, but it's actually a magic sign that identifies him as one of Earthrealm's champions, even though in real life his day job is an amateur MMA fighter whose secret special move seems to be, tapping out. Anyways, Liu Kang and Raiden later explain the dragon tattoos also mean you have what's called an arcana. It's basically your actual super cool video game button combo special move. Sonya shoots energy rings, Liu Kang throws fireballs, and Kano...
Shut up and pass me up, bro!
Well, he does that. But you have to awaken your arcana, and Cole can't do that for most of the movie until his fight with Goro, and that's when he finds out that he's a direct descendant of Scorpion, which you probably could have guessed by the amount of yellow and black he wears throughout the movie, among other reasons, like, you know, having visions and night terrors about Scorpion. At its heart, Mortal Kombat is a Scorpion movie. As we just mentioned, Cole finds out he's a descendant of Hanzo Hasashi who lived in 17th century Japan. Well, that is until Sub-Zero caught up with him and caused him to, stop living. The film opens with Sub-Zero, aka Bihan, murdering most of Hasashi's family before icing the man himself, but not ending his bloodline entirely because his infant daughter was hidden under the floorboards. Ha! Scorpion wins! Babality. Okay, not really. Fast forward several hundred years and Hanzo's bloodline is alive and well in the form of Cole and his family, and since that very blood is prophesied to be Outworld's downfall, Sub-Zero shows up to end it once and for all. Now, if you're wondering why Sub-Zero didn't just kill off one of Cole's ancestors prior to this in a moment of weakness, that's a very good question, and the answer is because they wanted to make a fun Mortal Kombat movie where ninjas kick each other's asses. Good lord, we're trying to have a good time over here. If you got questions like that, go watch Tenet. It's streaming next month. Jax saves Cole, sends him to meet Sonya, who's holding Kano prisoner. We learn that if you kill someone with a super cool dragon birthmark, it transfers to you and you become a champion. Kano has one, Sonya doesn't, but she's a good guy, so she's above killing him for it for no reason. Kano takes them to Raiden's temple, they meet Liu Kang and Kung Lao, and Jax, who got his arms ripped off by Sub-Zero, and now he has little tiny robot T-Rex arms. There are a bunch of training sequences. Kano gets eye lasers and eats an egg roll, double crosses everyone. Shang Tsung's forces attack Raiden's temple. Jax gets proper robot arms, and thanks to his love for his family, Cole unlocks his Arcana and defeats Goro. A bunch of fatalities happen, and most importantly, Scorpion comes back from hell to help his great-great-great-grandson defeat Sub-Zero.
This is Outworld.
Yes, the most brutal and murderous of all the realms.
So here's Shang Tsung's whole plan. Outworld has won the last 9 Mortal Kombat tournaments, and one more would allow him to dominate all of the realms as an overlord supreme type situation, and he's not afraid to bend the rules to win. Pretty basic supervillain stuff. Of course, his plan is foiled, and the tournament will go on. So maybe it's sort of a letdown that we got a Mortal Kombat movie that doesn't actually have a tournament in it, but on the bright side, this gets all of the setup out of the way, so assuming there is a sequel, we're gonna hit the ground running, or punching rather. But who's going to be on the roster? Obviously, Johnny Cage is the big one, and considering how much of a fan favorite he's become over the years, that's a smart move. With Kano no more, get it? Johnny can pick up the slack as the comic relief. Katana seems like a no-brainer to include since the Princess of Outworld could be a valuable asset to the good guys. Aside from Kano and Kung Lao, it's safe to expect that the rest of the Earthrealm champions will return in a sequel. Also, if Johnny Cage is working in Hollywood, an appearance from Mocap would be easy enough to squeeze in because Mocap is everywhere in movies these days. Shang Tsung makes a great first movie villain, but the obvious big bad waiting in the wings is Outworld overlord Shao Kahn. Goro's out of the picture, but there are plenty of other iconic Outworld baddies to take his place. You got Kintaro, Shiva, Motaro to name a few, and really the beauty of making a Mortal Kombat movie in 2021 versus 1995 is that there are way more characters to brutally kill off or put in starring roles.
I knew it. It's all real.
Mortal Kombat has a ton of Easter eggs, and IGN probably has an extremely comprehensive piece in the works rounding all of those up, but while they're getting that ready, here's what we caught. When Cole's talking to the fight promoter in the locker room, there's a line about Eddie Tobias taking the belt.
The man that took the belt from Eddie Tobias.
That's a nod to Mortal Kombat creators Ed Boon and John Tobias. Sonya's Pepe Sylvia-style conspiracy bulletin board is peppered with pictures and information, and you can spot Nightwolf and Kotal Khan up there. Did we miss anyone? Over on the murals in Raiden's temple that look like they were drawn by angry 6th graders, you can spot Baraka and Goro, or one of his Shokan ancestors, and for this one, our best guess is that this is Sindel mourning the death of King Jared. But that's a bit of a stretch since it would mean drastically redesigning those characters. The green amulet that Kano tries to steal from the temple looks an awful lot like Shinnok's, and that blue fan on display in the background appears to be the same model that Katana is a fan of. At several points in the movie, you'll notice that the score throws in a little musical motif nod to the original Mortal Kombat movie's iconic theme song, the official title of which is Techno Syndrome because the movie came out in 1995. In terms of fight choreography, Mortal Kombat does an amazing job paying homage to some of the iconic moves for the games, and if we listed all of them, we'd be here for an hour, but here are a few worth mentioning. Okay, first off, what's the point of wearing a razor-sharp metal hat if you're not going to throw it into the ground so hard that it turns into a circular saw that you can cut someone in half with long ways? Well, that's Kung Lao's fatality, and he does it, and it's the best one in the whole movie. It's awesome.
Flawless victory.
Kano ripping out Reptile's heart mimics that iconic fatality that outraged so many moms in the early 90s, even though it was totally okay in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. We get it, Mom, video games are too violent, but movies are a-okay. Liu Kang repeatedly sweeps the leg on Kano, and anyone who played Mortal Kombat back in the day has either done this themselves or gotten very annoyed playing against someone who did. Speaking of Liu Kang, back in the day, Liu Kang would just turn into a dragon and eat people as a fatality, but in the newer games, he's grown up, and now he makes a dragon out of fire magic and has it do the dirty work, which is exactly what he does to Cabal. And of course, since he's not awesome enough already, just being a kick-ass ninja from hell, Scorpion also turns into a fire-breathing skeleton as a fatality. But what did you think of Mortal Kombat? And who other than Johnny Cage is going to fight in the actual tournament? What was your favorite fatality? Let's fight it out in the comments below. And please remember to spell all words that start with a hard C with a K, as is the custom when covering Mortal Kombat. Anyway, thank you for watching this episode of Kanon Fodder. For more Mortal Kombat, be sure to check out IGN's full review of this wild movie. And if you want literally 25 years worth of Mortal Kombat video game reviews, IGN has those as well. Be sure to follow and subscribe to IGN wherever you like to watch. That's it. Finish him.
Did you make that last part up? It just kind of sounds like you made it up. I mean, and look, they spelled it wrong.
Hey, you listen to me.